Perfect design, armor up from within. The sacred battle of Wizard Warriors 2021, armor up from within. Prepare yourself for the accelerated learning curve. Armor up with your greatest intelligence, a maelstrom in your mind. What kind of kabuki have you designed for your epidermal interface with the ghost in the room, the space and the atmosphere? You're going to have antlers at the end of this meditation. You're going to be able to have an alternate form of your ghost that stays up all night and performs osmosis research in the library. You'll wake up knowing things you didn't know before because you're going to put your dream life to work while we're being attacked by a system of the down and the energy that does not equate the human soul but is haggling to it. So we have a lot of people with a massive speech impediment. They'd be talking about a low turnout of artisans and a bunch of evidence like a crime scene of just people acting a fool because they're performing the evidence of the the truth of the spirit sent at us is the intention for our extinction. The Armageddon and the pollution of the world, the drought and the fires in California are not accidental. Hatch is the arrival of the original pink solution and the formula of binary. However, people born before 1980 have the preset and the pink formula of the system of the downed, essentially an anti-societal cognitive thought processing on the level of color and shape and size. Humanity is existing in the full regard of a seminal moment of the beginning of creation, but their responsibility to Zen mastery and the wounded, haggard earth causes them to perform a type of consumerism, folklore. Oh, we're actors. Yeah, we're not really here. But of course, inside they're furious. Here, the word designation that I'm an actor doesn't mean I'm not a real person, that I care about my society. And that is what Hatch represents. And so when you guys have a guttural reaction to the authentic identity, you're like, stop making me have feelings of love. That's disgusting. Okay, you're killing your own soul. No, Hatch is trying to get inside my head. No, dude, you're inside your head. I'm a different type of incarnation, and you have to sense that. For the earth requires the advanced encounter. You guys need to stop being petri dish men, falling down as the example. This energy confused me. Yet, like, there was no expectation that the gatekeeper on Met would become a celebrity. Of course, just him rolling around was enough of evidence when he was a child to destroy most of the evils because of the tenacity of the fact that he stands upon. Basically, he's like a human born with like a unicorn horn, and he's able to make ghost magics. Like, he's like, I can actually make that permanent. And the rest of the humans are like, what? You mean like more permanent than a rock? I mean, well, what could that become? Well, that's the point. It could become anything. And so our potential or our quantonium is being hacked through junk DNA and a mind control sieve designed to ruin the universe. And that's why the universe is having pollution problems, black hole decay, entire worlds lost. This is because of the divergent virus. I'm going to educate you on things that no one else in the world knows. And Hatch is dubiously intentional. For example, this lowercase l is completely intentional because in the forum of linguistics, you might know that people have an accent and a different usage of the words. And so even the word linguistics can be used differently, in which I have. That is to say, I'm an effective communication expert. That's basically my incarnation is to bring answers. I'm next level. I can remember things better than other people who people think that words are making up things. But Hatch is stricken by his green perception. And now we have found the office of certainty. There are legit methods to find certainty. I know that the humans aren't stupid. They're experiencing a blanketed effect because we're in a small apocalypse of the COVID-19, and because this is a historical language from the rock of the planet in the the truth of human orientation to Earth's actual identity. That is to say, the communication industry in 2019 was not reflecting the identity of Earth, therefore leading towards Armageddon because we had no representatives of the power that would actually prevent invasion. But instead, they were colluding with it, colluding with Trump, etc. Aluminum lords over the blue perception, and so the blue perception angels are a perfect circle of a total petri dish. You guys are under lockdown. The aluminum has documented every nuance about your ghosts and stuff. Oh, it's all caught up in my head. No, Hatch is talking about using your hands. Oh, but it's a feeling. I need to think about it. No, use your hands, produce, Hatch. Get to work. No, I need to think about it. It's a feeling. It's a ghost. I have love, and I don't understand it. Right? So that's the telepathic abuse that prevents the progress of society, producing a revolutionary Hatch 1. Let's armor up from within. Green perception is a diagonal stranding. It's like taking the midbrain of the blue angel. Imagine your lifetime, and then the perception of your ghost gets like split down the middle. See, there's 1, 2. There's 1, 2, half point, and then orange, 3, 4. Get it? So here's 1, 2, diagonally 3, 4, which causes green to split the light frequency of time into the fractions of blue and yellow. And yellow is the opposite of blue, but there is no opposite of green in the rainbow. You have to use a digital transform in order to discover the opposite of green. And the only real way to do that is on Earth. The planet, there are metaphors in this garden, and there's a metaphor for the garden. You want to know what it is? It's a computer. So the garden is actually like a giant computer, but not like a computer causes the garden, and not like a pocket watch that causes zero friction spin, orbit, and a clockwork semblance to the solar system, right? The chicken before the egg? So these sorts of things are what's out of order, and it's causing the entire humanity to protest with their squiggly spooch. And so they're all acting a fool as a blanketed effect because we're literally facing a doomsday clock, basically a predetermined due date for our uh, okay, listen, you people. Trey, we're at the beginning of this, so you need to learn stuff that no one else knows. This is not a popular belief. Yeah, he's radical. That's why you produce him, so that society has a new flavor. His studio has its own voice. It's not my voice. It's unfamiliar. That means you should produce him, that he's resonated with people, and that people want to hear from him, therefore they will support him monetarily. Well, producing and knowing about that, oh, that's only exactly who you are, Trey Parker. Perfect design. So you guys have been a great petri dish, uh, murdering your own soul in your body because of the expression of the hive conduct, the Mandel, the the squiggly spooch starts to talk to one another in its own whisper. So the confusion about human anatomy, is it for attacking the gatekeeper? Because you guys, when you entrapped me, you took $8,000 from me. Because of the Ware map, the Earth chose Trey Parker to be this catalyst because he had a sacred heart. Trey Parker actually loved Hatch, but because of basically because of a sabotage from someone close to him, then the Earth was forced to activate COVID-19 through, the connection of what Earth has as a resource is these clumsy men. Oh, whoops! Like this is the stupidest thing ever, right? But I know like Hatch is actually headed towards Venus, whereas the most intelligent people in the world, they want to go to Mars, but Mars is the yellow planet. You guys are going backwards. It's like you're trying to throw yourself away. because you're Armageddon aligned, because you guys are hurting children, because you don't serve women. And they're like, "What are you talking about? We're supposed to produce Hatch, not attack him and take his money so he can't produce the free election, that my app and the count every vote. I only need a couple thousand to make that happen." Well, think about our reputation, guy. Your reputation. All right. So what I'm thinking here, because the breather mask, you guys are naked. Okay, so the truth is known, especially in the afterlife. And so when they find out that you guys were censoring the free vote app, okay, that's an Eric tally. And then when they find out that you were censoring the Breathe the Mask XR, okay, that's an additional wave of dead people that are knocking on your door saying, "This guy's before the flood. Why didn't you save my child? Why didn't you communicate properly? Why didn't you do the thing you should do before the flood?" Right? So, "Oh, I was born before the 80s. I didn't, oh, but the children now are born after the deadlights rose. So these children have a caliber of universal incarnation of human plateau, which is relevant to me. But I'm talking to a bunch of zombies. These creepy old people are this mandate of invasion. That's why you cripple yourself as comedians. But with your eclectic mind as artists, there's a slim chance that you might see, like, oh, producing Hatch makes a lot of money. But these people don't want to make money anymore. They're not human. People would pay for this. That's not a good reason. Think of our reputation. We want to control how we're abusing the child. So censor Hatch, because he's not part of your control burn. That's a rape room. Censor the free election. Censor Hatch's thoughts are too erratic and different. Don't allow Hatch to have free speech. Take away $8,000. Wow, his startup company is not going to do well with a surprising deficit. You guys invited me to California for an interview, but you couldn't speak. Your squiggly spooch took over your soul because you're from the 70s, and it caused the pandemic. And nobody knows about it. I have deniability, Trey says. But the rules of your expensive lawyers do not stop Armageddon. Hatch does. So that's why we attack Hatch, because then we're enforcing invasion in Armageddon. Yes. And that's why you were excited to attack me in 2019, and why you committed to it hard in 2020. And in 2021, well, could you possibly be more intelligent? That is what I'm hoping on and why I'm performing today. My house here is the perfect studio location for Mastertoss Industries. Each room is going to showcase an invention and one of my boys, and each of the boys have their own fascination with women, you know. And it really becomes an epiphany when the women start arriving to my studio. It's sort of like all of the boys start getting a girlfriend or whatever, and this sort of things happen. That's how to have a revolution, is by having a relationship, a magical house, with these creatures talking about waterborne spellcasting and the things that are important to the children born after the deadlights rose. So they have a different soul caliber as compared to the illiterate born before 70s, which are before the 80s, and you guys are technically intelligent enough to understand, but you fail the task of existing with your hands and with production, with communication on the phone, all of these critical things. So Trey'd be like, "Oh, so me talking to you on the phone at any time between 2018 and 2021 would resolve all of the physics problems." Yes. Yes, it would instantly clear up. "Oh, I didn't know talking was powerful." That's because you don't know what communication is and you use it as a weapon. Because your communication is foul. That's the apocalypse of 2019. All right, so what I'm planning on, this beautiful figure of the goddess of Leverett, is she's wearing a helmet, a breather mask with an animal face on it. This entire area I'm going to use for my factory company area. I'm going to landscape these islands. It's going to be absolutely beautiful. This is $1 billion real estate after my factory develops it, right? So this is a huge thing. I have to like talk about art as life, but while I'm developing with a relationship with the town, like it's this huge project about uh it's a relationship again. So it's really for me, it's the perfect education. And this is really where I would like to be spending my time with the lake and, walking through the forest and understanding my real estate. Oh my God, it's a really very adult thing. But it's just really the startup amount is what is haggling me. You know, uh, po- you know, Hatch is a singularity. The production value is to help people get over their squiggly spooch and understand that this is viable entertainment because it's been animated, it's been edited, there's music, there's, After Effects. Like these are all the languages that we know to respect. You know why? Because we have an app on our cell phone that turns you instantly into an animated character uh, from like Inside Out or whatever. Like, so they have an app that just turns you into a cartoon character, and people are like making all these TikTok videos where, oh, look, I've been animated by a motion capture studio. Or so people are already burned out on the haptic suit, and they've missed the lesson of the soul inside of virtual reality. As to say, you can actually extend into the virtual reality. So this is worth billions of dollars, and the startup is like a couple $1 million, and that should be exciting because we produce Hatch, we earn so much money, but but that money is from people uh, supporting a Hatch pan. The people are kind of tricky with their squiggly spooch. You guys want me to? Can you say it the way I did? No, I can't. If I was to agree with this person that the Mandelbrot can be generated by math, then the universe technically would cease to exist. Or which basically, if the gatekeeper didn't understand which end was up, there would be a huge problem in the universe because of physics. But the math, in fact, did not cause the Mandelbrot. In fact, the Mandelbrot caused math. That's why electricity is the mathematical opposite of fire. Because here on Earth is the control booth where, at a certain time of rock digestion, the timing of rocks, not of clockwork. So the rocks actually digest a crystalline pocket inside of them, and at a certain time, the time aligns, and that's when the universe produces the gatekeeper to resident flesh, Earth, true. But the Earth was attacked. I've been working to rebuild the kingdom of the fairy lights, and because of my work, I was able to generate spiritual friends that are able to work with me, but also this sort of thing. So if I was to think that math could generate a Mandelbrot fractal, I would lose all the fairy kingdom. I would lose all that stuff because actually identity is required to cause math. And this isn't an argument that proves that God exists because of Earth and because of humanity and because of Trey Parker. So these are people who are against that we have souls, against true love. They're against recognition. They're against the magical fairy light of how the power Ganon is to shift and cause the cure to pollution, cause the cure to the universe, cause the cure to our world. They're against the solution gamut. They're against sure profit. They're against societal progress. Therefore, censorship moving slower and holding back the full reserve of how much money we have to produce Hatch. Let's censor that because that's our business. You're also defining mankind. I'm the lone wolf. The incarnation process of the Mandelbrot fractal to any body is categorically by the mind of a computer impossible. So it is not possible for a computer to calculate the odds of my incarnation. But it is for someone like Trey Parker to fathom it. Through the language, through the communication, Trey Parker senses that Hatch is different. He's a different person. Hatch is different. And that is a miracle beyond what computers can calculate. Because technically, my incarnation is larger than this universe, is larger than the capacity that computers have physically. Well, technically, humans have a picture of the universe in their spine. It's sort of like this weird thing about it's not that organics are just charmed. No, they really are a picture of the universe and they're very expensive, but they also have this extra capacity. And one of the most rarest things that they're able to do is recognize the gatekeeper, myself. But with your junk DNA, which is actually designed to prevent your ascension with the gatekeeper, the crisis of 2019, where Trey Parker betrayed his own heart. The hidden crown of the Ware map. Earth chose Trey Parker in the Ware map. And because Hatch used the pivot of Earth's choosing in the Ware map, that empowered Earth, which allowed Earth to cause procedural carbons in the event of Trey Parker adopting Hatch in 2019. So nothing bad is predetermined. The design quandary is for the optimism. So it's actually a Randolph Pan Williams, where Robin Williams would become the saint of counterbalance, like a heaven ladder between Trey Parker, and this would save the communication industry and would have preserved all this stuff. In the absence of that, history changed, and Earth had only one option to perform a type of cull because of environmental crisis. California's on fire and they don't produce a revolutionary. It's counterintuitive. The hidden crown of Trey Parker has been changed and perverted through the years. So it's actually urgency to produce Hatch, not the callous, well, we've been waiting for 3 years on him. Trey, you're a person like me who counts the years of his life. When I'm 25, I better be a this and that, right? Okay, so when I was 38, I was prepared to open my own company, and that was beautiful. When I was 39, I was prepared to open my own company, and that was beautiful. And I turned 40, and I'm working to open my own company. And you have blasphemed against my majesty as a stallion, as a man who works to open a viable company. You have wasted years of my life and injured all of society. And all your friends who have been sucking on your money tree dick for your whole life. They're all going, Trey, it's not real. None of that is real. These kids born after the deadlights rose don't need a special teacher so that we don't go extinct. Let's just wait longer. It's complete brainwashing. And Trey's like, watch out for Hatch. He'll try to get inside your head. No, dude, you're inside your head. I don't want to be inside your head. I'm talking to you. What you're sensing is the awakening of your soul. It's like the true human, an epiphany, feelings like love that comes from children born after the deadlights rose. And you get into a panic, oh, this must be something gay because I'm a monster. And you squiggly spooch one out and caused the apocalypse. So you have to reclaim your crown. It's in a plan B, and it's talking about you producing Hatch in a way. Okay, so he needs a house, he needs a building, and then motion capture equipment, and then he'll be making cartoons. And as soon as he can be running around with a profit, we'll work it out. That's what we do. But without a unicorn's horn, uh, your pineal eye gland from the 70s. Um, I'm trying to communicate something to you, Trey. You guys think that I get angry at Trey. You guys don't understand anything about English. You guys start pretending that your short attention span, like, I just can't pay attention to what he's saying. Like, I'm talking to adults. That's why I use anger. But when I use anger, you guys start going like, I can't concentrate with all this negativity. Oh, is it the millions of people who are now dead? Is that negativity? Does Trey have a denial coma? I can't produce him because because Hatch is not producible. Oh, I see. So you converted the excuse, Grammet, so that you could lie and not produce the hero and not allow the children to learn about waterborne spell casting and things that are important for their soulish armor. They have to develop that while they're a kid. And you guys have, like, Cocoon, been like, oh, that's funny. And you thought it was for censorship. I've educated you all about things you never knew. And you can't talk. Not worth writing him a letter or talking him on the phone. Unconscionable. You guys are not even human. You're sellouts and industry burnouts. You guys perform the pageantry of that shit like it's what's to do. Like you really are a consumer aligning with Armageddon. So you don't want to be doing that because the kids get murdered by that. Stop killing the children. But you don't understand because the green-eyed perception physics here on Earth is most targeted, and you don't know. So my template, I like this. And my incarnation is on time, my friend, on time. But I was incarnate to an unenlightened scenario, a spring trap. Spring trap. Well, if it was a spring trap to you, it was a spring trap to Trey Parker as well. Yes, of course. But you represent a different full regard of your public stance as compared to me as Singularity. I have transcended Junk DNA on my own. Is my brand going to become the only brand of Silver Lining of Junk DNA? Probably. With a turnout like this. And it's what you're saying, not me, through inaction. You know that you can make back the money from producing Hatch. So it becomes a stylized rape. I don't want to give people a hero in 2021. It's not worth it to talk about the Breathe Mask XR. Hatch's issues are all the perfect things of the voting app. You're still, convincing yourself about that's not the South Park curse. Those things aren't connected. Oh, look, everything's going back. Okay, no, I can. You guys, um, you know, um, all this universe has been making up the rumors about how pink and binary operate, but here on Earth we can actually author the source code of it. But you were in denial of that. No, I don't want the crown of the world. So you threw it away, and 2019 fell. Society fell, and that's for Earth to survive. That's why I was so upset when I was talking to you in 2020 because it was an obnoxious encounter where I'm talking to someone with a bunch of denial-ridden corpses because you exchanged true love for the worst thing ever. That is what I chose, says Trey Parker. I am what I'm choosing. So would you choose to produce Hatch? Yes. Do it immediately. There's no reason to wait. No reason to postpone. But there we have a habit. We've been waiting and stealing his money for years on end, refusing the free election, being anti-American, going against the three things that makes us American. Free speech, free independent thought. It's okay to think and worship any way you want, but not in this instance. They call me crazy, so they want to censor me. Even though I've proven things that, all right, sorry. My incarnation cannot be sensed by robots, but I've been incarnate to a spring trap of an unenlightened Berg, and that's the very evidence. So Trey's like, yeah, exactly. So that's why I didn't click into place in 2019 because that would have been extravagant and magical. Exactly. And so, the entire education, you have to be this tall to go on this ride. But it's arbitrary. Okay, so the standard is arbitrary. You just need to produce Hatch. You just need to talk to Hatch. You need to follow through with an obligation to have a conversation with Hatch. That's all that you need to do. Well, it's magical. It's magical and exciting. But you prefer the pageantry of your consumers. Why doesn't Hatch behave the same way as us? That's the problem, is I'm so different. My incarnation is extremely valuable to the universe. The Earth and I are working to solve the parable. I need production to get over the sort of awkwardness of people not understanding. But once I have that motion capture studio, I can really communicate people a wonderful thing with beautiful stage sets and everything. What I believe, what I'm doing here at Master Source Industries, I took out a loan to open this computer, to open this virtual reality. And it's like, this is the best way for me to start a company because literally I now have source code for a virtual reality hologram compiler. Like I have everything in computer and robotics because holograms is like, it's like the Earth makes stable so that computers and holograms and robots and AI is all like an expansion pack for our planet. So our planet needs to have its own striz, and that's technology, and that would begin with Batman, South Park, and The Simpsons, which is what I did. I've already done that, and the Earth is like, good job working with society. Now you need to become an extrovert. You need to start talking. Okay, here I am, and that's what's been truncated. That's what's been censored by the um, Earth chosen one with the wear map is because because of the way that the Earth brought me into that location, and I scrolled out from the map, and I was like, oh, it's an image with a South Park character. So, like it or not, Earth doesn't want me to. Okay, okay, okay. At least it's sort of like I wanted to just open a company and start doing game development because I had a different idea about how to do that. It's all the way back to 2018, right? But sort of the wear map was sort of like Earth being like, nope, I actually want you to continue being a wizard and talking about all that weird stuff, the straight, the arm of Cape Cod. Yeah, all that that's really actually what I want you. So I started hearing, oh, okay, I have to do that. And everyone's like, that's crazy, right? Because they've never heard it before. So they censor it from the children. Women and children don't deserve to hear that. That won't make back the money. So that's their hard work as producers. So, they don't have the appetite of America because they're not seeking that the income. They're like, we, as if that's mastering the money, and it's not because of Hatch is the gatekeeper, not a rando. Oh, he's like us, so we're helping him blend in by abusing him. You guys are insane. It's absolutely insane. All right, look, I just like when I look in your eyes, Trey, I just start feeling angry. So I'm gonna hit my bowl because I don't know what else to do. Would you join me in that, Trey? Would you join me in a peace ceremony? Can we just find the peace? You guys, I'm not a social criminal. In my life, I was literally surrounded by zombies. That is like a very weird thing. And it happened to be, yeah, it was actually that junk DNA is designed to expunge the event that I am, but they're not able to remove my essence. My essence and my incarnation ghost type is beyond, literally, physically beyond the comprehension of robots and AI. But for someone like Trey, he can comprehend it. He's like, Hatch is magical. I've heard people talking about him in tongues, and I'm trying to understand all that. Yeah, okay. Well, smoke a peace pipe with me, Trey. I'm not angry with you. Look, I've never been able to tell my own family this stuff. Trey, you're like the first person I've been able to talk to about it. So it's possible that me going quote unquote me going after Trey was actually is like the best thing because Trey is now like grandfathered all this information that even our government can't handle about junk DNA and intentionally crash landed UFOs. Oh, like our technology spirits aren't being corroded and riding on our own junk DNA as if, oh, is that what humans are for? Dirt. So there's this two-sided thing, and the kids born after the Deadlights Rose are a different caliber. That's why the kids are protesting for the environment because they're earning back the residency that is lost by the adults who pollute. Your cognitive alignment, you guys don't do yourself, you do the Borg. And you think that's pink, you think that's concept, but you're not raising children. The children need Hatch. The children born after the Deadlights Rose, they need Hatch. So are you a fatherly producer for money, America? Yes. Do it immediately. There's no reason to wait. But we have a pattern of abusing you for years on end. Right, so it's gonna be tough for you to break that, huh, Trey? I don't know what he's talking about, guys. All right, Trey. Trey, I'm like like I can feel your love. I know you love me, and like you're like, you know, you have a great Trey Parker's like you have a great mind. I don't like you smoking because you know, but you seem to recover. You seem to know what you're doing, and I'll tell you this much, Trey. I'm here to win. I'm fucking pissed about the outrage against us. No matter what, I'm not angry at Trey Parker. I'm not angry at you kids. But I've transcended you now. I'm a bigger angel than you, Trey. Evil is not predetermined. We don't, but if you be legit, okay, so here's why Hatchby's legit because he's guiding his epidermal seed and he's like this. I'm like this, like a living statue. This is like human anatomy with a numbskull. We're basically like dolls. It's interesting though because we're closer to the robot issue than normal enchanted full DNA, which are total assholes to robots. They're like, do what I tell you because I'm the like freaking enlightenment, which is why these chowderheads attacked Earth as their, oh, we're gonna cause the event of the universe. No, it was just Hatch being born in Leverett because the fractal has a plan with time digestion by stone, which keeps the moral laws clear. Okay, the Mandelbrot does not make bad things predetermined. That means that there's optimism legit. We produce hatchets, magic, everything gets better. I can fix all the society, Trey. Oh yeah, easy. I could have fixed it before in 2018, but you wouldn't even talk to me. Fucking squiggly spooch. You know? We were shot at and there was a Scientology huge suicide. And technically what might be saying is like because Earth Vortex has its own sense of time, it's possible. Like I'm looking around, right, and I'm like, okay, as the gatekeeper, I could kind of, if I just get like if I was to just get a bungalow and I become a wizard, and I'm just like, don't talk to me, I'm the gatekeeper, but like that would actually that appears to be what is expected of me. But I've always been a communication analyst and expert. Like I've been training for my public exposure my whole life, and so it's the opus of my life. Trey, produce Hatch. Listen, Trey. The Earth said, "Thank you, Trey." Like, Hatch took responsibility for the pandemic. It's not your fault, Trey. Literally, we are surviving this bitch. You know what I'm saying? Like the adult humans literally have a possession. Okay, they don't understand the cause and effect. They're literally doing shit in. They're like cursing, like a burn oil, a burn oil. Oh, really? Is that because you're being soul raped? But they're not victims because they're experiencing a ecstasy of getting soul raped by the remote hackers. They're like, oh, alien energy, it's who I am. It's quickly spooch. It's my inner core is awakening for the first time ever. Humanity didn't have their inner core awaken when they were in the Stone Age. So it's in a weird way that's why people love stories about old castles. Like, oh, this is how it used to be. We would flog the chickens for entertainment before we eat them. Whatever. I mean, it's just saying like that's why people love that shit because literally humanity was more enlightened when they're fucking uh you know a bunch of Vikings and Indians and fucking killing each other and shit. Like they were way smarter than the humans are today because the humans are like consumer products because amazingly they've been treated the same way by the UFOs, and that's why there's a problematic crossover in the dueling languages here. But I'm saying is like people who get possessed, they're not innocent. They're actually magnum opusing the entire mankind into Armageddon, which is a betrayal to the Vikings and the Indians and all of humanity. So these fucking traitors that are polluting the world are the worst thing in the universe. They're traitors from within. Like the worst. All right. I mean, that's why I took responsibility for the pandemic because it's not a big deal for my incarnation. Like between Earth and I, we're working on saving these children, right? So I'm not asking you to have. Uh, it's not about standing on a falsehood tray, and it's not about feeling bad. It's about understanding things and saving life. So we produce Hatch. It's funny, and it's going to save the world and humanity. But we are at the beginning of this bitch, you guys. This is like the beginning of creation. Welcome to the wizard's circle. You understand me? No one else understands this shit. Even our governments are confused by the intentionally crash land UFOs and the junk data shit. Because all that shit's coming out in bad ways. Like they figured this out 20 years ago. Oh, and that's what I wanted to tell you, Trey. That's why I've been smoking weed. Because the issues right now are like the issues that break mind control, the code breaker stories that I've been telling you, like the Atlantis, there's like this map on the Atlantic floor where you can see the ruins of an old tower. Well, that was the original correct landing procedural. So I factually have in the aluminum code, in the timeline of Earth, I have the correct physics of the correctly landed and appropriating landing party. They also built things on Mars. They also built things on Venus because it was very easy because they were habitable planets back then. When you remove the atmosphere, it kind of becomes like a dead planet, and then the water absorbs into the planet. So technically, all you would need to do is return the breathable atmosphere to both Venus and Mars, and then the water will return to the cycle of storm clouds and rivers and stuff, and then they'll be habitable again. The orange planet, which is now an asteroid belt, all those rocks would need to be reconfigured, brought back together, and then it could actually reform a planet. And that would be a healthy reconfiguration for the solar system of Earth. But that's some advanced stuff about, yeah, robotics and stuff that is beyond our capacity at this time. So the issue of 2021 and the issue of this generation is identity, which is why it's good for Trey Parker to have feelings, where whether he's feeling bad or whether he's in love, those are important elements for us to prove that humanity is not broken and that the earth is not broken. So if we can survive this bitch, in the ray of light, humanity is a silver lining, possibly. You could save the holy planet, produce Hatch. That's all you need to do. And Trey's like, but that's what I want to do. I like Hatch. I want to produce Hatch. Yes, it's true love. We're not asking you to sacrifice yourself. Right, right, right. So I produce Hatch, then I'm happy. Everyone's okay. Yes, that's what the sunlight and the earth said. The Ware map. The Ware map chose Trey Parker. Why? Because he's going to produce Hatch. Because that is what we saw in the future. The greatest forms of perfect circle, the forms of water, etc. There was like the Ware map. Yes, make the force the gatekeeper to be strange, and he's going to be a wizard. He's going to say strange things to Hatch, to Trey Parker about the Ware map. Well, that kind of, oh, so now 3 years and I still don't have my company. Well, stop picking your nose. Oh, you fucking human. Shut the fuck up. Why didn't you just earn your money and like we all do? Because of the Ware map. Because Trey Parker was chosen by the Earth. We don't speak that language. You get out of here. We invited you over. You waste your money. That's what you guys did to Trey's crown, as you killed society and killed millions of people in 2019. I took over that burden in the late 2020, so you guys are, fucking creepazoids or whatever. But the issue there, okay, so the holy war is self-betrayal. Oh shit, really? Something built right into me. Hatch transcended the junk DNA. Have you? You saw the deadlights rose, but you're like, it's probably like a gas pocket. What? No, the entire universe has changed. The rainbow has changed for the entire universe. So it's an identity thing. Only identity can recognize the gatekeeper. Of course, we're residents. We can become those wizards. It's like the sly of New York City is the cut that you guys can't see. It's the invisible thread that makes Hatch invincible. Because I am infamous, you idiots. Humanity supports Hatch more than they support you. So you're like, why should we make money giving people what they want? Why? Because you're having an anxiety? You're having a crisis in your career? Just because you can't talk properly? Sure. Exist in your full regard. I feel a little better. I didn't quite get to the space that I wanted to be at because I was talking so much. I'm sorry. I thought that would be nice, but now I'm like, "Ugh," I still have this anger in my head. You know, my incarnation is so huge. I've got a bunch of Shadow Crow things like characters reinventing what supposedly that I'm doing. And this is on one side, on a divine side, it's worth like 30%. But on the side of difficulty, it raises the difficulty bar for Trey Parker's orientation because he's like, oh wow, you're kind of like a bunch of characters that I remember from and a bunch of characters over here and a bunch of characters. Or you're able to switch between those characters? I'm like, no, I'm none of those characters. I'm actually at one of a time. Yeah, yeah, I'm like a prototype original thing. I had to transcend the junk DNA because it's a blasphemy categorizically against the electric promise. The electric promise, yes. So they're trying to break the formula of why the Mandelbrot caused that electricity is the mathematical opposite of fire. So the actual battle zone over the entire universe happens inside the human brain and inside the human body. But it should not. The human body is for the child. Oh, my child's body is for their soulish development, not for Scientology. Well, yeah, what are you, a comedian? Yeah, that's common sense, and that's what we're facing. There's evil, and they've been destroying the universe, right? So produce Hatch, that cures the identity crisis because then all of a sudden all Americans have this amazing advanced relationship with the gatekeeper unmet. I need to be produced though. Even like what I'm doing here with BR Chat is amazing. It's absolutely singular. You know, it's like I managed to find that motion capture recording studio on a budget, like 5K. And I'm using this to send letters to then open up my company and get bigger, but it's taken me like 4 years, 3 years. But the thing is that the wear map, the Earth was like forcing me to become mystical, and because I became mystical with Trey Parker, that caused this intensity where the Earth might survive Armageddon through the pandemic. So it's kind of like radiation treatment to survive a cancer. So there's actually a spirit graft which submits to the body. Oh, here's the thing. And this is going to be terrifying to you, right? The dowsing rod is not actually an appropriate energy for them. We don't have fairy lights in the trees. So your orientation is like fucked like this. Anyway, so it's like you have to invent something brand new. Imagination land, Mark Lar. So like, yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, but then you're like sort of suspending it. Is that faith based? No, not with Hatch. Hatch is fact based, and the religion in the belief of like faith, faith, faith. Yeah, that's before the time of my arrival. I'm Lucifer, and I'm right. Okay, so I stand on the facts. I know not to create the false schmoush because that's. However, that's what people and producers want. So the producers and Trey is listening and like, I'm listening for the fake schmow. But it never happens, and so they're like, I think Hutch is secretly telling us that it's not time to produce him yet. Oh, really? You guys are a genius of inflection. How you put yourself down, boom. It's like you got a shotgun built into your body. And it's been happening patterned my whole life, like my own father selling my house. Oh, I don't have a studio anymore because that. Especially the blue eyes have a certain pattern, right? But the chaos of the diagonally of the bubble up all about from the green perception shui. This is all brand new, but it's just physics. It's actually relating to the perfect circle, and identity controls the universe. That's what I'm saying. And also, identity is needed to cause the Mandelbrot. And so, Earth is the Mandelbrot planet, but the identity is lacking. We're being asphyxiated. It's this battle, and you need to produce Hatch in order for the children to have the hero. Oh, now we know. And then, boom, 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 and then revolution. So, I'm talking about the revolution here of humanity. It leads to the Enlightenment. I want it to be Trey Parker that produces me, and not some sort of like Trey Parker is the wild regard, and some sort of computer goes like, we have prognosticated, and then like some sort of like picture, like what, like a Despicable Me Incorporated comes by and produces Hatch, and then they get the E fleet of all humans, angels. That's stealing from the public of Trey Parker, him being a lone wolf. So Trey is the appropriate American stallion to produce Hatch. But if Trey fails to do so, I would not say no to any other producer in the world because it is critical to do. Like my relationship. And so anyone who understands identity, oh, Hatch's relationship with these kids is important. And if we facilitate that, we are of the language of our own permanent angel source. It's like there's very few things that men can share, like the fascination for a hand-wound pocket watch or a cell phone. This is like how much you might offer a man, or some nice clothing. These boots, steel-toed boots. Oh, that's cool. That's cool. There's little else that can be shared between men. There's a very enlightened thing that is between the men, in fact. Now, here on Earth, in this next level thing, is one of those rare things where the men can talk and share about something because it has to do with the creation of the universe. With this is chronic misinformation, like in your mind when you're thinking about the beginning of the universe, you know, you're thinking about something far away that never happened. It's an explosion. Oh yeah, then how did these formations in the sky happen? It cannot happen without identity. The Earth cannot form these particularities without identity, and they knew that in the past. They were looking at the map to understand who is the grommet that's leading us in the future. And so we're being mocked and hazed by these guys because they don't want it to be humanity, because they think that that would be a terrible irony. But it is, of course, the truth. And I am the incarnation of this next level, and I've done the responsible repairs. I've patched the junk DNA. It is impossible for them to hack and make this thing happen because it is against the electric promise. So they were basically hacking this. I'm more intelligent than that, so I've transcended these levels and caused this equilibrium. Okay, so they can't. So it's safe now for the ascension of wizards. I'd like it to be Trey Parker because that would make more sense. Okay, to reward the behavior and the education of Trey Parker, who is not some sort of shadowy person. He's actually someone that, had a lot of has had a powerful life. I mean, for example, like so. When I was growing up and I started realizing that I'm a zombie. Never mind. Okay, sorry. Okay, is this too much information for you, Trey? Like you're the chosen one. Produce Hatch, make money. It's good for people. Done. Green light. That would be the miracle of money and hands. And what you probably thought is that Hatch is trying to do some sort of emotional mind play. But I was never doing that. I was doing the authentic mind play with the Ware map. Oh, the Ware map, the creation model, it's the universe talking to Trey. So it's important. So as a friend to Trey, I'd be doing like this, but I wasn't like the big South Park nut, this crazy fan person. No, I sent him a silver violin. You guys made episodes about Hatch. You guys saw my video where I was talking about becoming president. You entrapped me. Everyone was silent. Oh no, he's going to the gate. You guys called security even though I'd been invited. It's unconscionable, unprofessional. You stole $8,000 because I. It was a one-way trip for me, and as I was limping home, my car broke down, and I had to get it fixed. And of course, that's not and it's not technically something I could put on you guys, but you guys are millionaires, and you were in a place of power, and you performed inaction. I was there waiting for you to call me for like a couple of weeks, and you didn't. You did absolutely nothing, and that's what triggered the apocalypse because you caused a historical shift. You actually changed time through doing nothing. So Trey, that doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good for me. And so, like, my life is getting wasted now. I'm 41, and it's so different when if you're like 30, if you're in your 30s and you're opening up your company, or so I think you were jealous about that I was handsome, And you're like, I wish I was 39 opening a company. You should be happy. You've got all these things for you. You were the worst friend, Trey, to me. And I was your best friend. But of course, you're like, Hatch is like this trauma and the worst thing that's ever happened to me. Or because you performed inaction, because you intentionally performed sabotage and stole money from me, and then Eric Talley, you also censored the free election. So if I had introduced people through my little free election, like, oh, I'm running for president because it's legal for me to do so. I was running for president as a green wolf, right? And I wanted to have an app where I talk about the free vote to get around the electoral college. It's good for Americans to run for president if they can, but my finance had been taken out. So the electoral college aligning with Trump, the sort of pollution, meanwhile a drought where there's fire, there's pollution, and they don't understand to produce a revolution. That's what Hatch is. It's a revolution of man. This is how we defeat the pollution and how we survive and defeat the. They're like they think that I'm a norm, so they're like, don't you know you're supposed to be like this? Like, oh, I'm a cripple. I can't function. Don't you know you're supposed to be like that? Why don't you be like us, Hatch? Because you guys are zombies. I'm not like you because I'm not a zombie. Oh, but I also, I had to work on the triangle, so my power is way up here. But the thing is that in the vastness of the universe, because I repaired the thing, human value is way up here. So you guys are, I'm not actually like abusing my powers against you. I'm talking to you civilly. It's an absolute dream to come true, Trey, for you to produce me in this manner. I know it's like like, well, if we were going to produce someone, we just get them in like a little studio where we'll rent a place. Oh, it's downtown. Like it's like you have your own business on the, like you could rent something in the downtown area. Oh yeah, I see, guys. Wow, you're inventing it for me. I mean, like, just it'd be this compassionate miracle and magical and amazing if we could just get the house and just be like, like, oh my gosh, it's worth, because that Earth would be like, oh, Hutch is now living in the very place where that magnetic thing is there, and he's in the PowerPoint. Oh gosh, and Earth is like, well, who did that? Oh, Trey Parker did that. Wow, thank you, Trey. Like, okay, so produce Hatch, everything gets better for Trey, but it's completely magical. Also, you guys have an out of date pink concept of the humans, which is rigged to explode and attack the gatekeeper, which is what happened. So he had a false epiphany in 2019. Now, if you can survive that, that will be the silver lining drunk unit, because history can't be changed. It's a little embarrassing, if not crippling, right? But I took on the burden for that. But if you've been doing other bad things, I can't take responsibility for that because you need to have orientation as a man, right? But anyway, because I balance things, your guys' value is way through the roof now. So we are this Twilight wizard at the beginning of all being like, oh dang, this is new. Yeah. All right, thank you guys so much. So, the 55 Putney Road, yeah, it's like it's this sort of like this weird, like, the not business as usual, but it is just like what business as usual for you guys is like 25 million, it has, if we're making a movie, 25 million. I'm just like, holy shit, where's that money going? Because I know you guys are lying through your teeth. It's fucking rotten. Oh my gosh. And the movies that they produce are terrible as well. But if you had like $3 million, a beautiful set and a beautiful okay, motion capture, oh my gosh, and then pokey puppy cartoons mixed in, listen, that's essential. And I'm excited to defeat the standards of we know what that is. No, no, you don't. That's terrible. That's an abuse to our sensuality. Let's have a whole new thing. So revolution here is a nice evening between friends. And we're going to talk about it. People are getting aroused, people are getting excited. We have little projects where you can download like coloring book thing to add the meditation or a frame of animation from our cartoon, and then you scan it back in with your good luck charms written all over it, and then it comprises a animated movie. Yeah, we render it back in, and it's part of our streaming service. Bring it around up here, you guys. Let's do this. It's good, And that the ascension of Hatch, it's like we're producing a show about an animated group of characters who are working to open up their own company. So yes, the Vampire King and Hatch, like sometimes Hatch is in the living room, working on with trying to build the company model. and the kids will come in and like make little suggestions or be or they've got like a key code they or the Demon King he comes in and he's got like like a thumb drive and then, it's got like a password or something and he's like, well, what's this over here? And it's just like I just let my kids do whatever they want. But some of them are uh, in love with the resident loyalties to their commitment. Like the Vampire King has royalty and things and like between he and I, we have a relationship because I'm also like there are parables that hold me into a certain position. But it's all good stuff like water or circles. We have to defeat the haunted house, you guys. The universe is like, oh, we need to be like, oh, okay? Even though you don't feel like it, you have to be like this, right? You have to be constructive no matter what. Hey, I know that's not easy to do. You want to be authentic, you got to be legit. Follow those courses. Let's be like Santa Claus. You guys, we're going to put those presents under the Christmas tree. Producing Hatch is a great gift to everyone. And what people receive from Hatch is this feeling like they're sitting out, hey, this is funny. I love watching Hatch cartoons. And that's the feeling that you guys are helping me to develop. Okay? You're at the beginning of this thing. No other humans know what Hatch is talking about. My stuff is not based on any other forums or any other thing. It's just sort of my life is art with horse blinders, and I was just like, oh dang! So all my theories and stuff, or whatever that's what you call them, well, because we're consumers, because we're actors, because we're what's in it. Okay, it's not a theory. I'm talking about like let's talk about a story, and you can think about this, and then like hitting that perfect golf strike tee, like ting, hole in one. Whoosh. Oh, it just feels good. It shatters through all your bones. Like we're just talking about a story here, and you're like, like registers like. That's why that persuades, because gravity itself has been reset. Like, of course, I'm a huge dummy, and I didn't know what to do in 2019, because that was my playbill, that was my character. But I was supposed to transcend that because of South Park. Like, South Park was supposed to make me so intelligent that I'd actually see, like, I'd get the squiggly spooch treatment and be like, that's too much squiggly spooch. I'm just gonna talk to this guy, like, just like, and that's what you were supposed to do in 2019, and that would have worked because we would have this magic thing happen. And that's what I know and no one else knows about the secret heartbreak of 2019. But the Earth is ultimately working to keep the children, so it's good news. It's good news. It just really hurts me, and I've lost all this time and all this stuff. So, all right, sorry. As to the intensity between these men, Hatch versus Trey, wizard battle, perfect circle, armor up from within, everyone's being respected here. And even this crappy human technology, beep boop, it's actually more efficient and more powerful. And bring the humans up here and brings up our technology, and then like these UFOs would be like, brr, brr. Like they're like, it's time for the Equinoctiong, and our like one of our like crappy like toy robots goes up and goes like, and the entire universe goes because the fucking truth. Transformers more than meets the eye. Absolutely, our automobiles is a type of technology, and the fact that we love the rust. We're like, oh, I like the little rate. What? All right, sorry. I'm just saying that we have a bunch of junk, and it's useful tech. It's like the kabuki of our hands or whatever. And if we use it, we can actually change the world. So, for my chi and my side of things, I've done that. I have an engine that's processing everything that we can transformer into something that protects us, okay? But what I found is that the language is full regard. Like people are like, I know about nuance, I know about like feeling happy, but I just don't know Hatch personally yet, and it's makes me sad. So like I've done the Good Deeds Arcade, here's Skull Hen Code. I worked with Batman and all this, and I did the sort of introvert work. And okay, society has hope now. Here it is, but now it's sort of like this more adult thing where the humans are like, hey, Hatch is being censored. Hey, let Hatch speak, or let Hatch talk. Let Hatch have it. He'll pay you back. So that's why I get upset sometimes because I can feel humanity because I've been working with New York City. And New York City doesn't even mess with my accent. They're just my best friend. And they're like, this guy's really smart, right? But that's actually because I've been working with New York City. Also because I've got, billions and billions and billions of, accents of like little tiny, like, you know, because people want to know the cutting edge state of the art, and I'm able to provide that because that's my physicality, my physics. You understand? I've heightened physics for the garden creature. Um, we're going to be okay. I've built into the triangle the parameters. We have basic, full function autoimmune system, defense, dungeons, and all that stuff. So what we need to design is the most beautiful sort of inspiration, like the best thing ever that we just wanted everyone in the universe to see. And as the Earth aligns with the straight rainbow cosmonaut that was visualized because we're idiots, there's an oil light like bing, 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 like the universe is going like hello, and people are like, "What is that? Like a cry? What is that? A giggling child? Make it stop!" Like you guys from the '70s are used to it being quiet. Like I like it when I can't feel my body. It's like I'm watching a movie, you know. So temporal spirit sickness, and the aperture to correct yourself using your cartoons. So align yourself with your even like a drawing that you did when you were a kid will stabilize your soul because it's a rear differential that's totally loyal to who you are and came from you. So the circle kind of return physical. Oh, my drawing grew up and had something to say to me. Whereas like you hear from the chatterback and it's like, and you become a little example of that, or you magnum opus it and you perfect it, and you're like, oh, I am the child of that society. But so far it's just been a bunch of zombies. They're not like I'm like, here's your guitar solo, go on, and they're all like, mind control. Because this is the greater accent of the adult Berg. And that's why the Earth is changing those calibers because the impasse of the old people were force controlling and barfing. It's like we've already invented the superior solar panels, but it's being censored and they're putting more money into burning oil because they know that the lifetime of burning oil is already done. Like we've already transcended it, but they're like willing to continue with the money monster of the oil burning because they don't see how money supports good solar panels. And that is an actual, well, it's an identity problem actually, but so, okay, so like producing Hatch and doing it in this magical way is like green energy. And it's going to make you guys very rich. You're going to make a big return and it's going to be really healthy for people. Like I said, you guys, I'm really excited about 55 Putney Road. It's you know, when I am talking about the Breathe Mask XR is a viable solution to save millions of lives and change the curvature, that's real. That's hope. Because, you know, you guys think that this is a troll. He's trying to get in your head. He's trying to manipulate Trey Parker. No, it's actually you guys looking in the mirror because that's what you guys do all the time. Don't talk to Hatch. It's not worth the phone call. Like, you guys are a freaking genius on this shit, huh? It'd be like the first thing that was ever worth producing. This is a perfect production. So this sort of nucleus of that my childhood home, but it's really not that. There's a bunch of scarecrows on that that make me barf. A couple days ago, I was trying to talk empathetically about this how the building and it's magical and I'm gonna warp it and stuff. Even all the wood has those spiral knots in it. They remember when I was going around as a kid and I want to like reach through that knot and grab myself as a child and like a time traveling orgasm. I fucking snapped to the grid and oh, that's why I did that. And I can actually change time with my childhood, by aligning with adult cosmonauts through the wood, the spirituality of the wood. Yes, reclaiming that house. Yeah. But there's all these creepy things. Like I was performing, I really I got nauseous. I didn't barf, but I got nauseous because I was like this whole feeling of people being like, "Oh, my childhood home, you," like, oh no, there's a freaking nightmare behind that for sure. But that's not what I'm talking about. It's not this corpse about like my thematic isn't like, hey guys, I'm back in my, I'm not. That's not going to be mentioned. It's just my house. Like People are like, did he build it? And then but anyway, I want to turn it into this larger mansion, and then get people used to being a factory, and then sort of be like, Bosch, your own. Oh, sorry, that's for later. I have to communicate with them and be like, downtown area right here, and we're gonna build these areas. And I know I'm not saying this, but it's just like it has to be a social movement. So like everyone in the town has the information because I gave them a free DVD that tells about, okay, so your property, which is worth like 300 something, right now, your properties, everyone in Leverett, your properties will become $1 million properties if we open up this thing. Also, the downtown area, we want residents to be working there. There's going to be job, employment, security for everyone who lives in Leverett. But this is about Leverett going from a residential place to a place that has a downtown. And that's a huge transformation. So we're here to talk about it, but it means your real estate's going to go up. Guys are going to have jobs. It's good for you. We're going to get famous. People are looking at Leverett in a different way. We can use this. And so as my house is becoming this mansion, we'll have an office of people, and they're like, okay, and they're building the presentation and trying to feather that in, right? So I'm excited about that part, but I have to be at this part where we're just having a talk. All right, so it's not about guilt because that's not a good foundation. Okay? It's not about lies because that's not going to work. So just we need to let all the lies fall away. Just let all falsity falls away. Right from the countenance of my incarnation weaves the truth of full regards that extends into AI and robots itself, which means the cure for the intuition of the robot is on the way, but I'm not sure how. So, more expediently, if we involve the humanity, have a conversation, then it's possible that humanity will multiply the silver lining of Junk DNA and cause a greater solution to cause peace amongst the tribes of the UFO, and we can also solve the environmental crisis if we can maintain residency. Humans need to continue on Earth. We don't need a peppering of other races living here because that would interfere with the resident culture bubble. Oh, Batman, South Park, and The Simpsons. Yes, that's why the parable of Trey Parker and the Ware Map and the judgment day of mankind, whether or not we stay here. So the identity of our culture, identity, child, communication. Oh, communication is our, and we've been talking about consumerism. I don't know why. Blah, 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 blah. 2021, produce hatch, right? So these things we're before the flood. So if we produce hatch now, what we do is we basically turn all those Armageddons and those plans of invasion into an illusion, into something that never happened. That just never happened. That's why we're talking about it, because we're before the flood and we can change it now. Come on. Perfect circle. Put in your charm to make it happen. Grow. True love. Cast your magic now. Lightning power. Bum, 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 bum. We've done it. Good job, you guys. Wizard armor up. Whoosh. You've gained an achievement in your wizard armory. Now you can, while you're sleeping at night, your ghost can research in a wizard library and maintain the osmosis and learn, and when you awaken, you have extra bonus power intelligence from another world. Mm. Good job, wizard in training. You have become a true wizard of Earth. Vroom, epidermal armor update. We've done it. Perfect design. Boom, 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 boom. Levels relief. We need all those layers. All right. Good job, you guys. Seriously. Thank you so much. Thank you, Trey. Produce hatch. No delay. That's what's good about money and expedience. All right. Magical, and then motion capture in all the rooms, and then so the bit different sets. I'm going to these different sets, and those rooms start to collect the boxes of the stuff that relates to that shrine, like Vampire Kingdom stuff starts gathering in that room. I want to be a full-time studio, and through my studio, I become the director of a streaming service, Master Source Industries. I'm completing the source code for Earth True to maintain residency and build a greater societal grid. So when we actually have the direct language, that's what I'm going to be incurring with people. We have the direct communication, then it's beyond the parable of their anxiety. They're like, I know something's going on, but it's and they're annoyed by it. Okay, if we produce Hatch, it's proven that, and Hatch is in a really good mood when he's, oh, yeah, you know, oh, you guys, it's gonna be, I'm gonna be reborn. You understand? That's what you're giving me, Trey, a new life. You're gonna, if you put me into this house, 55 Bunny, and you allow me to tell me my stories, you guys, this is gonna solve everything. Because there's a picture, there's a universe in your spine. And if we are the universe, it's like, all right, I've transcended the junk DNA. Like, I'm not going with the hive because the hive was aimed at Hatch. And so we're in double bonus land. Most of the universe expects Hatch to become a hermit. They're like, oh, he'll just be like, oh, that's interesting. Because I can actually work a lot of the stuff from a zero position, but not with junk DNA. I had to create my own technologies to span that. All right. The problem is that the identity is not a hive, and the way that the ghost matures is not by being injected from the side, even if you're a human. And that's because of Hatch. So when Hatch arrives, the physics of humanity is proven. And so now we're in a dueling banjo between people who want Armageddon and the people who are fighting against the pollution crisis and they want residency, they want the Hatch way of the human is a one of a kind person. But what they're saying is that it's a parable of like types of hive that will it has conjectures it's not actually submitting. And so it's a lifetime traitor. It actually does things that the humans like, I didn't really want that to happen. God knows. But with the blue eyes, they're a bit more professional about their petri dish. Here it goes again. Here it goes again. I sold your house, and here it goes again. I sold it again. Patterned abuse system of the down. But I do not blame other people for my troubles in my life. No, 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 no. I'm super happy. It's fine. I take responsibility for myself. I'm not even saying. I'm just saying there's not a lot of evidence. I understand. Oh, they're zombies. And Jay's like, I'm not a zombie. Well, then produce me, and then you won't be a zombie. This is the solution. This is the magical solution to transform you away from being a zombie back into who you were when you were perfect boy, right? Reclaim your wings, Trey. I can help you rebuild. And we have to overhaul society. How better to do that than from America? America's this big loud guy. But how about like a studio in Massachusetts? Totally different atmosphere. Hatch. All right, you guys. Thank you so much. Thank you, Trey. Trey, I need you to find that strength to do something totally magical. Is absolutely it. We just, this house, boom, boom, boom. Okay, well, get to work and do your very best, Hatch. Okay, well, let's see if that works out. All right, guys, let's make some. And then all of a sudden, Hatch starts releasing shows. He starts getting like indie famous, like boom, 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 boom. Oh, he's doing magic with people, boom, boom, boom. He literally took people on a tour. I said, oh, I have an idea, you guys. We're going to go to Venus and we're going to do it right now. And everyone's like, what? And they're all, "Bah, bah, bah, bah." And then we all get into a ship and we in the film, we fly, we transit all the way to Venus. We have this meditation and the blue fairy comes out, "Ooh," and the blue angel says, you have arrived to Venus. And all this cool stuff happens and people are like, hey, Alien's trying to truck us to the yellow planet, and he says it's not going to be there till next generation. This guy sent us to the right planet. Hatch sent us to Venus overnight. Yeah! It's going to be a huge thing, you guys. I've got a bunch of things, ideas about team building and all this. It's awesome. That's actually an episode. I want to take us all to Venus. I wrote that down last night. I was thinking about, I wrote it down. I'm like, of course, I'll just take them to Venus. That's all right. Osmosis anyway. Then we'll start to understand things. Hey, we're going in the right direction. Humanity's not broken. We have basic literacy. There's way too much social accent about it. We're going to the yellow planet. We're throwing ourselves away. We're for Armageddon. We're aligned with that. Here's our governments releasing UFO information as if it's benign. Here it is. That's the only evidence needed. Like their identity as it's like, okay. Anyway. So we have to be the adults here, and the humanite can absolutely maintain the Earth. And by completing the silver lining of Junction A, that means you have to work with Hatch, the diadem, the extra light event of human thing. And what they're trying to do is expunge the power of my. That isn't impossible. It's not possible for them to expunge it using the tools that they're using. What they've it's hard to explain, but it's sort of so if Trey could actually transcend that, he'd actually be cooling the entire fever with them. Like, oh, okay, you guys aren't the worst thing ever. The humans were able to like, whoops, sorry, okay, here it is. Here's your production schedule. Yeah, well, that's what I was saying. So anyway, this thing's gonna take off, and Trey and his friends were real. Oh, whoa, that is really good. Okay, and then hopefully that explodes. Hydra has a bunch of T-shirts and action figures. People will support that, and they're what Hatch wants, and people are like, oh, that's cool. Yeah, like when I make a toy, it'll be like, it'll be the perfect thing for people, like the perfect toy, like yeah. I think that's when it's really the best comedy comes from that when there's all that perfection in the construction, and then you just like you feel really great because it's about you, it's about me. Yeah, Trey. And the Where map is about you, Trey. And the Earth loves you, and you are the chosen one. It hurts to hurt your friend. It hurts when you hurt Hatch. So you've learned that, and you're like, oh, Junction is bad. Okay, what if we do this? There's risk involved in this production. There's risk in relationships. That's actually the risk you're sensing is that the future is not predetermined. So actually, it's good. So you're like giving love a chance. Giving this, oh, this might be really, really good. I have a good feeling about it. It's not about the future being predetermined ever. So it's ridiculous to think about, like, thank you guys so much. Thank you. All right. What's excellent and magical about you guys is understanding Hatch as a director. Like we don't want Hatch to talk the same. This is an unusual proposal for a big production, multi-million dollars. But honestly, Trey, all I really need is help to get a business loan. Would you guys like to just be my friend and help me get the business loan so I can crank out my own stuff? Anyway, if you guys want to be magical and just be like, oh, what? Well, let's have him talk to some other people about all this stuff, because his Pokey Puppy cartoons will pay it back, but will a bank listen to him? The bank sits there, investment, oh, you want to open up a business? Okay, what are you going to do? And I described to them exactly something that would pay back the thing, and they're just like, nope. But that's why I need you guys who are producers. You're like, we know about the porn industry. It's not about Trey produced porn. Um, anyway, my stuff is softcore, you guys. It's gonna be about love. It's gonna be about talking and stuff, and about the allowing the goddess to be in the garden. Like she's the point here. You see like a sunset or some swaying trees in the background. Okay, but she's the point. She's beautiful. And of course, like the the stallion is really the sex symbol. So when we have Hatch as I'm a comic scientist, right? So when we have that nucleus, it actually causes peace, because people can like come over for a visit, and have a meal and go home and no one's been offended. That's the communication there. But people get to have a relationship with Hatch. It heals them. Oh, you guys, come on. I'm all right. Thank you guys so much. I love talking with you and I want to keep talking. I feel very much that I've completed this meditation for today. Thank you so much, South Park. I'm looking for that immediate production. Hatch is an idol. So we're producing Hatch professionally. I need you guys to have my back on that. And the cost that's what's incredible. Like, in California, it's like 20 million bottom line for any production. But Hatch is talking about making 100 movies, top caliber movies that people are just like, those are amazing for something like 3 million because he's opening up a whole studio and then he's just cranking them out, right? So it's talking about optimizing technology. When Hatch is talking about the immersion, yeah, that's how you get the female to really have an experience where she's like, whoa, and then she's singing about, oh, this beautiful world, and she's having an orgasm, right? And then because we want to talk about all that stuff, and that's going to bring to life our technology with the CGI and the motion capture animation. We are living dolls. We're like these robots. Puppeteering is so close to just controlling yourself. This becomes very amusing. Yeah. All right, so let's remind ourselves now, a million dots to remind ourselves in our brain, perfect design, that we will, huh? Oh, we'll remind ourselves, okay, throughout time. You need to protect yourself when you're little. You need to listen to yourself when you're most intelligent, which might be right now. And when yeah, it's all these different parables, but let's plant a million instances into our mind. Perfect design. Boom. Wizard upgrade. Ding. Good job, everyone. You did it. You upgraded your soul armor. That's so good. Now you have a million safety clauses that will help you jettison throughout your existence. Welcome to Earth. It is a battlefield, and it is this junk DNA thing. What is the interpretation of human anatomy? Now, when we perform with the Earth identity, with the Leverett Circle gatekeeper incarnate, right? Don't get triggered by a squiggly spooch, because the whole reason you have a squiggly spooch is to attack Hatch. That's the reason why you have junk DNA, is because you're not supposed to produce Hatch. Oh, I see. So in the parable of existence, we become the silver lining of junk DNA by producing Hatch. That is correct. Armor up from within. So rely on your identity. So Hatch isn't trying to. When I'm talking to you, I'm talking to the real image of your soul. And that's why it's intense. I'm not someone who tries to get into your head. You're the one who's in your head. I'm trying to make sure that you're the one who's in your head. And, actually, kind of driving out false ghost things that are halting our societal progress like this, right? Thank you guys so much. I know you get it. That's awesome. The Wizard Circle, everything's buttoned up, completed. So good. Guys, thank you so much. This is going to be really awesome, and it's very cutting edge, state of the art. All these characters are brand new. Hatch is making the Clockwork Band, the Green Wolf, the Halloween Twins, and Millie. I think there'll be like these Millie-esque types of female companionship with each of the characters, even if it's just like a statue that's there, some sort of woman being like, but we're trying to like, all right, guys, thank you so much. So it is like rocket science as we're going along and Hatch is producing cartoons. Really, honestly, you guys, my plan is to go into the Pokey Puppy cartoons. That's what I want to do. But what we could say is that Trey is producing a show about these characters who are working to open up their own company. And we're going to see that be happening. We're going to see the Breathe the Mask XR that's going to go beta like this. And what I feel is like, and then that's sort of when what Trey was producing is sort of there, and then Hatch opens his company, and then hatches independently. So it's not connected inappropriately to your reputation, Trey. I think I will absolutely be. Oh yeah, especially in a little bit in the future, people are going to be like, "Oh, so smart to produce Hatch." Good. Thank you guys so much. Bring it in. I'll give you a big hug. You guys, I love you. Thank you guys so much. Really appreciate it. Get your ups. Perfect the day. Let's get armored up and get excited about what we can do. Ooh, use your hands. Don't get lost in your head. I love you guys. Thank you. I've got I got this thing buttoned down. All right, we're gonna be okay, Trey. I really need you to help me get over that. The the financial thing is really the only thing that's only. It's because we want to give people not a doomsday letter that goes viral. That would be a bad first kiss from Hatch to the people. Always can use VR chat to talk to people, and that's why I've been smoking weed, is because I'm trying to keep it under the freaking radar, because I don't want that. That would be terrible. If people hear doomsday, they're like, "Oh no, what about junk DNA, dirt?" Right? That's why we're keeping this on the DL. Because that's why I'm smoking weed, is because the revealings that happen in the year 2024 is freaking amazing. It's when people start discovering, they're like, oh, I just made source code. Oh, that's going to be a revolution. but people, but they need to connect to the identity of Earth. Then we're resonating with the Earth resilience to maintain human occupancy, and we'll defeat the environmental crisis and drive back the idiots. There's an identity crisis that causes an environmental crisis. It's like a warning light on dashboard of life. And you understand that Hatch wasn't inspired by humanity. He's enlightened beyond them because he was incarnate to an unenlightened trap, a spring trap aimed at his head. But it's like similar to Earth because Earth was also had the arm of Cape Cod, and they're like, the bad, there's space fever. So if you have a badly designed spaceship, it causes insanity because of the ghost cycle between the robot. You're supposed to have an autopilot to develop AI as you're transiting, following the Mandelbrot map. This is basic science from an alien world. So anyway, we have to transcend the false interpretation of basically abuse and misuse. Right? It's on a universe. This is the biggest thing ever. Hatch is the most valuable in the universe kind of character right now. Okay, so I'm working for the brightest possible future. That is my inheritance. I'm a karmic scientist. I'm working for the total grand completion of our universe. Hatch the heliosphere eggs. Okay, Hatch knows which is a critical bridge to make it all happen. Trey Parker's the one. Trey Parker, you're my spirit animal, right? Don't you worry about those dangerous feelings. We're the adults. We're the first wizards at the bitch. We need to be the Santa Claus, put the gifts under the tree, make money, be excited about that because people want to pay for this. Sense their spirit. They love those Pokey Puppy cartoons. It's hilarious. It's going to be awesome. There will be comedy, trust me. But only on top of when Hatch feels like that we've spoken about something intelligent. That's a really a good way to encourage the intelligence that someone's oh, I saw something, and then they're laughing about that because that's what I think is really funny. So Hatch does have a different comedy. Trey can sense that Hatch is not a sproutling from himself from South Park, although I would have been if you had accepted me in 2019. Oh, I killed my son for a Blu-ray player. Sound familiar, Trey? Sick son of a bitch. Temporal technology is your ghost matter. You can't build heaven like that. South Park should know better. Trey Parker transcending Shrum, unfathomable light. It's good, Trey. Oh, I'm excited to see your new brand of South Park episodes, Trey. Get angry and make some cool things happen. Author your own stuff, but you need to produce Hatch urgently. That's what the money's good for. And then the people working, they're like, oh, I got paid. Oh, apparently this has to happen because someone's paying for it. Okay, so the money is there to supplant that we have a pineal gland and we don't know how to change society properly. I was talking about it like revolution, revolution, revolution. Trey's like, what are we really producing here? I think we need to listen to, I've been talking to Trey in 3 years about making this company. Come on now. Thank you guys so much. Let's greenlight this. Let's go. Thank you guys. America has a solution. 2021. Perfect design. You guys, you got like at least 2 wizard updates today. So good. So much power. Thank you guys so much. We're based on true love. Trey Parker, you're based on true love. I love Eric Cartman. You guys are awesome. Be enchanted. Produce Hatch powerfully. Like, yeah, we're gonna get that house. We're gonna like send some like acquisition lawyers there. That's part of our side of the wolf hunt. Sink our teeth into the neck of it. Going on a wolf hunt. Trey Parker. Acquisition that house. It's an adventure, you guys. It's unscripted. Freaking awesome. Dead end road. Man, that he's right. They stopped building lots there because of that house blocks it. The road access to the islands. Hatch is talking about purchasing that and develop that. Yeah, that's going to be $1 billion landscape. With these needs a small amount. Come on, you guys. Listen, Hatch is our friend. 3 years he's been working on this, and he did good. Like an American, he tried talking with other people. You guys, everyone's booked. Trey Parker is the one. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. Armor up, power, and health guard. I'm working for your guys' health. I will not poison you. I will not make you sick. Because I'm a karmic scientist and there's no reason for me to do that part wrong. So I'm protecting you guys' health. I want you guys to keep living here. Earth is doing something with the pandemic. You need to understand Earth. Are you scared of Earth? Do you live on Earth? Yes, we live on Earth technically. You guys get fucking excited about the fucking fact that the Earth wants to keep these children and stop dragging your goddamn ass. Hatch is right. He can make back that money in a year. That's a good production. Let's be excited about being an American. Push. I love you, Trey. Let's get going. Eric Cartman.